This program is intended for healthy individuals who are looking for ways to age well. If you have concerns about your memory or have Alzheimer's disease or dementia, please contact the Alzheimer's Association to speak with someone and find out about other programs that are available. By the end of this program, you will be able to identify the reasons for taking care of yourself as you age, list strategies to help you age well in the following areas, such as cognitive activity, physical health and exercise, diet and nutrition, and social engagement. And the slide says, make your own plan for healthy aging using the Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body Tips for the Latest Research workbook. And if you're interested in receiving that workbook, please drop your email in the chat so that we can send that to you. So let's start out by talking about the factors that contribute to how human beings age. There are some ways in which we age that we all have in common, and many of these things are outside of our control. As older adults, for example, our hair typically turns gray, our skin wrinkles, and our eyes tend to focus less effectively while reading. As individuals, though, we each age somewhat differently, and how this takes place depends in part on our genes. We are each genetically predisposed to age in a certain way. For example, some families tend to live a long time, aging well into their 90s or even longer. Other families tend to develop diseases that may limit the lifespan. These things are all beyond our control. However, there are many aspects of aging over which we do have some degree of control. These aspects of aging include the lifestyle or environmental factors associated with how we age. Even in families with genetic predispositions towards particular conditions, there are lifestyle and environmental interventions that may alter the course of those conditions significantly. We can start by adopting habits to potentially improve overall health. These habits may help keep our bodies and our brains healthy as we age. Now let's talk a little bit about the brain and how it works. The brain controls all of our bodily functions, including thought and movement. It is the control center for the entire brain, for the entire body. There are approximately 100 billion nerve cells called neurons in the brain. They are structured like branches of a tree, creating a network of pathways through which electrochemical signals are sent to form thoughts, feelings, and memories. Alzheimer's disease progressively destroys brain cells as it moves through the brain, affecting more functions as it progresses. We have known for years that the body and the brain are connected, and that what is good for the body may also be good for the brain. Now science is able to tell us why this is true and what we can do to maximize health. Much of the body-brain connection is due to the fact that the brain is nourished by the body's richest network of blood vessels. The oxygen and other elements delivered to the brain through the bloodstream keep the brain nourished. Each time your heart beats, 25% of the blood being moved goes to the brain. This is why keeping the body in good working order helps keep the brain fueled to do its work. There are so many benefits to aging. If you ask someone you know who is over the age of 50 or 60, you may hear discussion of increased feelings of comfort with who they are as a person and less concern with the opinions or criticism of others. Those in their 70s and 80s may talk about the wisdom that comes with life experience and their appreciation of this perspective. As we age, there are changes that take place in our body and our brains. Many of these are to be expected as typical age-related changes, such as some decline in the ways our brain processes information. In addition, however, there are some diseases that are more common as we age, and some of these impact brain function. Alzheimer's disease and other dementias result when the brain is compromised in some specific ways. Currently, there are no proven methods to prevent, cure, or even slow down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. There are habits, though, that help maintain or potentially improve overall health as we age. These habits may also help keep your brain healthy as you age. Although this program isn't specifically about issues related to Alzheimer's disease or dementia, it's helpful to know some basic information about these conditions to understand how they relate to healthy aging and what we can do to help our brains and our bodies age as well as possible. Dementia is a general term that is caused by many different diseases, each with different symptoms. The symptoms of all these diseases have one thing in common. They compromise the way the brain works and cause a decline in memory or other brain functions that are noticeable enough to affect everyday life. Although dementia and the diseases under this umbrella term are associated with aging, they are not a normal part of aging. If they were, everyone would develop them as they age, and we know that this isn't the case. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia, accounting for 60 to 80% of all cases. Some of the risks for dementia include age, genetics, head injury, cardiovascular factors, and fewer years of formal education. We will discuss some of these risks in more detail later in the program. There are some therapies that have been developed to help treat symptoms of the disease, and these are effective in some people for a limited period of time. However, they do not slow the progression of the disease. The Alzheimer's Association offers many programs and resources, both in person and online, where you can get additional information about Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. Today, we will explore 4 factors of healthy aging. These areas are physical health and exercise, diet and nutrition, cognitive activity, and social engagement. We'll look at what the most current research tells us about changes we can make in each of these areas that can help our bodies and our brains age as well as possible. As we touch on each area, think about how you can apply this research to your own life. Consider how you can do what you enjoy, make gradual changes, and start now, regardless of your age. Whenever possible, think about how you can make changes that affect more than one area at once to maximize the health benefits of your habits. Let's start by exploring the area of physical health and exercise. There's quite a bit of research in the area of physical activity and how it affects the brain. Many studies indicate that engaging in physical activity is associated with lower risk of cognitive decline. So many researchers say that if a person had to choose one thing to do to improve their brain functioning, it should be exercise. Some evidence suggests that exercise may directly benefit brain cells by increasing blood and oxygen flow, and by reducing other dementia risk factors such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. However, there is no single recipe for what may work best. Most researchers believe exercise should be regular and on the more vigorous side, but other studies have shown benefits from mild activities such as walking. In our first video, Woodley describes developing a new habit. So let's play the video.
It's surprising how you can easily build up habits of just taking 15 to 20 minutes out of your day to go down, hit the treadmill, and just do it. Just do it. Just get on it, put my headphones on, and just walk at a nice brisk pace for myself, build up a quick heartbeat, quick sweat. And it's amazing how quickly I can go from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And then over time, 30 minutes, and over time, 40 minutes. Before you know it, you're up to 45 minutes of walking. And even at a higher incline and also at a higher pace. And again, it's all about incorporating habits and the choices that we make.
So kind of what Willie was saying, just do it. Developing a new habit can happen surprisingly quickly, and progress comes with choosing to stick with that new behavior. And it doesn't have to be too time-consuming. Creating a habit can begin with just 10 to 15 minutes a day of activity. The most important recommendation is to be as active as you can and to incorporate activity that you can enjoy so you will continue to engage in it. If this is new for you, start out small. Walk around your neighborhood a few times a week, take the stairs more often, or park your car farther away from your destination than usual. The little changes add up, and research shows that even 20 to 30 minutes of walking a few times a week can have health benefits. Participate in cardiovascular activity regularly, so that's like walking, running, swimming, cycling. This will increase the blood flow to your brain and to your body, providing additional nourishment. Research has shown that for most people, any additional movement is a positive change that can have an impact on overall health. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have developed recommendation guidelines for physical activity. For more details about the recommendations and how you can reach them, take a look at the CDC's website. And it's important when you're exercising to move safely to prevent injury. Wear a helmet when biking to protect against head injury. Like I started learning how to skateboard, and so it may look a little funny, but I have elbow pads, I have knee pads, a helmet. I even have protection on my hands just so that when I fall, I don't get injured too badly. So wearing protective gear is just super important and activities that they're needed in. And you should ask friends to join you. This way you can make it social, which is a benefit for your brain and your body as well. And it gets you some support for continuing your routine. Before the pandemic, I would go to the gym with my friends, and it just kept us all accountable for making sure we worked out, and we would call each other if we didn't show up. And you should consider physical activities that may also be mentally or socially engaging, such as taking a dance class, joining an exercise group, or engaging in a challenging sport, such as golfing or playing tennis. But check with your doctor before beginning any new exercise program. And finally, remember that it's never too late or too early to start. No matter when you start, your body and brain can still reap benefits. Studies have found that smoking increases the risk of cognitive decline and may increase the risk of dementia. Additional benefits of stopping smoking includes a lower risk of heart attacks, stroke, and lung disease, better blood circulation, and avoiding exposing others to secondhand smoke. Alcohol has many effects. Although a glass or two of red wine is commonly thought to have health benefits, you should not start drinking if you don't already do so. Also, excessive drinking of alcohol has some serious negative consequences, including slow or impaired communication among brain cells, fuzzy memory and drowsiness, long-term changes in balance, memory, emotions, coordination, and body temperature. Alcohol can be a big contributor to falls and fall-related injuries in older adults, and it can react negatively with many medications, leading to potentially dangerous or even life-threatening consequences. And I can't emphasize this enough, but get enough sleep. Inadequate sleep due to conditions like insomnia or sleep apnea can cause problems with memory and thinking. Avoid any injury to your head. Head injuries and falls can contribute to physical and cognitive difficulties. Be sure to wear a helmet when riding a bicycle or playing sports that could involve head injury. Studies have found that regular physical activity decreases stress, increases your ability to manage stress, and leads to an overall better mood. Monitor your level of stress, take action to minimize it, and seek professional assistance to address anxiety, depression, or other mental health concerns. Be sure that you have informed all of your doctors about all the medications you take and have them reviewed by your primary doctor once a year. Find a physician you trust and visit him or her on a regular basis. Follow up on all recommendations. This is one of the best things you can do to maximize your health as you age. Growing evidence suggests that many factors that increase the risk of heart disease and strokes may also increase the risk of dementia. These include high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and possibly high cholesterol. Although there is good research being done in these areas, more is needed. Here's what we know. Research has shown an increase in the risk of cognitive decline and dementia among individuals with diabetes. Although diabetes has not been shown to cause Alzheimer's disease, there is a relationship between those who have diabetes and those who get dementia. Studies have found that midlife obesity may be associated with an increased risk of dementia. Research done on treatments to reduce midlife hypertension suggests that they may also reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Studies have shown mixed results for the relationship between high cholesterol levels and dementia. We do know that a good cholesterol level is good for the heart, and what's good for the heart may be good for the brain. The best way to combat these health concerns is to get your cardiovascular factors mentioned above tested regularly and work with your doctor to understand what the results mean for your overall health. Be aware of changes from previous levels to help determine whether changes are needed to help you stay healthy. African Americans and Latinos and other ethnic groups that tend to have higher rates of high blood pressure, diabetes, and cardiovascular problems need to work closely with their doctors to stay on top of any medical concerns. And so now I'm just going to take a brief moment to mention that if you have any exercises or physical health related things that you'd like to do that we didn't mention, but that might be fun for the group, please feel free to put that in the chat so other people can see it. But the next area that we will explore is diet and nutrition. Again, we know that a healthy fueling of the body benefits brain functioning, but there are many different opinions about what is the best way to maximize health. Research in the area of the relationship between diet and cognitive functioning is somewhat limited, but it does point to the benefit of two particular diets, the DASH, which is the Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension diet, and the Mediterranean diet. The Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, or the DASH, is a flexible and balanced eating plan. Studies show that the DASH diet lowers high blood pressure and improves levels of blood lipids, which is fats in the bloodstream, which may reduce the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Because the DASH diet is a healthy way of eating, it offers potential health benefits beyond simply lowering blood pressure, including reducing the risk of osteoporosis, cancer, heart disease, strokes, and diabetes. The Mediterranean diet incorporates the basics of healthy eating along with other components characterizing the traditional cooking style of countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea. A research analysis of more than 1.5 million healthy adults demonstrated that following a Mediterranean diet could reduce the risk of death from heart disease and cancer, and may also reduce the incidence of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's diseases. It's never too late to adopt a heart-healthy diet. Studies have shown that these changes, even later in life, may have benefits to your brain health. And now we're going to watch another video. So let's hear from Dr. Martha Claire Morris talking about a diet that has been shown to help people age in a healthy way.
Foods that have been shown to lead to healthy aging would be fruits and vegetables, and in particular green leafy vegetables and berries, as well as limited intake of high-fat food items that you get through high-fat dairy and cheese and red meats, and also healthy vegetable oils. So this would be olive oil would be a good example, have been shown to reduce your risk of heart disease as well as dementia.
So science has shown that there are foods that can help you age well. Those diets can help you reduce your risk of heart disease and may also be able to reduce your risk of dementia. There are some simple ways to adopt a healthy diet that may benefit your body and your brain. We all probably know this, but it's a good reminder. On this slide, you can see suggestions that incorporate principles from both the DASH and the Mediterranean diets. They include incorporating vegetables into your daily diet. Eating green leafy vegetables has been shown to have health benefits. Eat a diet rich in fruits. Some studies indicate that certain fruits, such as berries, may be particularly helpful. Eat nuts, beans, and whole grains. Eat lean meats, fish, and poultry. And choose foods containing polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, which are found in nuts, vegetable oils, and fish. And aim for a diet low in saturated and trans fat. So that means staying away from processed foods, deep fried foods, and excess sugar and salt, which can sometimes be the delicious foods that are still unhealthy for you. A healthy diet will help increase your intake of important vitamins. Some research has shown that vitamins such as vitamin E or vitamins E and C together, vitamin B12, and folate may lower your risk of cognitive decline and possibly Alzheimer's. This research has resulted in some suggestions that taking dietary supplements will lower your risk. Dietary supplements and nutraceuticals or medical foods are made for those with nutritional deficiencies and are to be used only under the supervision of a physician. Labels for medical foods or supplements cannot make drug claims or state that they alleviate symptoms of a disease because they are not drugs as defined by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA. Many are created with little or no regulation, and many can be potentially dangerous. Be aware of false claims. With all types of supplements, it's important to keep in mind that they are not without risk. They are made of chemicals that may interact with other medications in negative ways or may upset the way that your body works naturally. Although they often cite research to back up their beneficial claims, the research has not been held to the rigorous standards required for medication by the FDA. Even with emerging research to back up the claims, it can be difficult to understand what the research means for you. When getting information about a supplement or vitamin, check with a reputable source of information about what research has been done. The best way to understand and address how to care for yourself is to discuss this with your physician. Work with a trusted doctor who understands your physical issues well. He or she can provide the best advice about how medications, vitamins, and dietary supplements may interact in your body. It is important to discuss any changes in medication with your doctor. Now, let's take a look at research in the area of cognitive activity. Cognitive activity is the term used for keeping our minds active. Anything that uses your mind is challenging ways is a cognitive activity and can possibly have short and long-term benefits for your brain. As you use your mind in new and challenging ways, your brain actually begins to form and nourish new pathways for connections among brain cells. The more pathways you have, the more nimble your brain is, and the better able you are to guard against the effects of injuries or diseases that may compromise brain functioning. Studies have been done in which some people engaged in cognitive activity by playing games or reading materials that were challenging for them. Those who kept their brain activities in these ways could recall information that was recently learned and remember it later to a much greater degree than those who did not keep their minds stimulated through mental activity. However, we do not know all the reasons why staying cognitively engaged may be beneficial. More research is taking place today to further explore these questions. Research has shown that engaging in formal education, so classroom-based learning administered by professionally trained teachers in any stage of life, will help keep your brain healthy and can protect your brain from developing dementia. Some researchers believe that this may be due to education creating a more robust network of communication pathways between neurons in the brain. Others believe that the difference has more to do with education levels being related to socioeconomic factors, which are correlated with risks for diseases in general and access to medical care. In this video, Dr. David Bennett, director of the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center in Chicago, talks about research in the area of cognitive activity.
One of the most interesting factors is cognitive stimulating activities, which basically for us just means mental processing of information. It can be from a book, it can be from the radio, it can be a magazine, it can be from a lecture, it can actually be from watching TV. All of these things require processing information. And the old adage of, use it or lose it is actually something that turns out, at least from the observational data, to look like it's true. So numerous studies now have shown that being more engaged in cognitively stimulating activities is actually good for maintaining cognition. And it's true in late life, and it's true in early life. And so what we recommend is that you start early, and if you're already late, start now.
So like Dr. Bennett was saying, cognitive stimulation is defined as the mental processing of information, and it has a positive effect on maintaining cognitive abilities throughout life. It's important to incorporate cognitive stimulation into your life regardless of your age. It's never too early or too late. So how can we exercise our brains or keep our minds active? You can see some ideas on this slide. Participate in mentally stimulating activities, such as building a piece of furniture, trying a new cooking technique, or creating something artistic. Like, I like to paint, but when I'm trying to paint something, I have to think about what I want to paint, what colors would be best to use, what brushes I need to use. So just engaging in an activity that challenges and makes you try new things is a good idea. You can also read books and articles that challenge and inspire you. Focus on topics of interest that provide you with new learning or add to what you already know. Complete puzzles and play games that are challenging for you. For example, I know some of my family members do Sudoku to help with that. This goes beyond jigsaw or crossword puzzles that you find fairly easy to do. Here we are talking about solving a problem that has stumped you or figuring out ways to approach a familiar task in a more effective way. It requires that you think steps ahead and make plans for adapting to changes that an opponent may make in a game like chess or bridge. Learn new skills or hobbies. Learn something that interests you and that you find enjoyable. You may want to learn to play a new instrument or take up a new hobby like watercolor painting or chess. Engage in ongoing learning. Seek new opportunities for formal education. This could involve taking a class at a local college or a community center that teaches about a new topic, skill, or hobby. And this is a little easier with the pandemic with more virtual options, so you can even do this from home. Also, encourage and help your children and grandchildren to get as much formal education as possible. And maybe join a club focused on a common interest. This is a double benefit. You will not only keep your mind active, but you'll also engage in social interaction. While brain training activities such as computer games that aim to improve memory and attention span are an exciting area of research, none of these activities are proven buffers against Alzheimer's disease. Be cautious of commercially marketed brain games with big claims and promises. One of the best ways to stretch your mind and to help your brain be as resilient as possible is to consistently engage in activities that involve learning new things or solving problems. Be sure to choose activities that you enjoy to increase the likelihood that you will continue to engage in them over time. If there are any cognitive activities that you enjoy doing right now, please feel free to drop that in the chat to share with everyone. The final area that we'll take a look at is social engagement, or interacting with others in a social setting. There is the least amount of research in this area. However, there is some research that indicates that connecting with others socially may benefit brain health and may actually delay the onset of dementia. Those who are engaged with other people also tend to have reduced rates of mortality and disability. Researchers aren't sure how, why, or if social networks may help keep the brain resilient against Alzheimer's disease. Some scientists say that the traits that enable people to build and maintain friendships act as a buffer against cognitive impairment. Regardless of the reason, we know people don't do well in isolation. When people are feeling good about their social networks, they tend to make healthier choices in other areas. There are a variety of ways to connect with others and reap the physical benefits of social interactions. And even if you can't connect with others physically because of the pandemic, you can still Zoom them or call them. I think we've all learned over the past year how important it is to interact socially in a safe way that we can. As always, pursue the activities that are meaningful to you. These will provide the greatest connection with those around you and will keep you engaged. Sometimes you can engage in an activity that combines areas of healthy aging, such as when you take a walk with a friend or volunteer to tutor young adults in your community. Find a purpose in your life, an activity or connection that gives your life a sense of meaning. Now, let's pull all four pieces together. Each of the four components we explored has potential benefits for physical and cognitive health. Recent research, however, suggests that combining activities in all four areas may have the greatest benefit in maintaining or improving brain health. In this video, Dr. Bill Thies talks about recent studies that is making a difference in what scientists are able to tell us about healthy aging.
At the Alzheimer's Association International Conference, there was a study reported of the results of a large clinical trial that was done in the Scandinavian countries. And in this trial, they took half the people in the trial and they adjusted their exercise level, their diet, their social engagement, and their mental stimulation. They developed programs for each one of those variables, changed all of those for the people that were in the test group, and the control group just lived as they had been. There is a tremendous benefit to doing studies where we make changes and observe after the fact. That's a much stronger study than just observing people and trying to make judgments after life has changed for them. To my mind, one of the things that this has done is it's changed the force of recommendation that we might make around the benefit of these interventions for prevention of Alzheimer's disease or for brain health. And the fact is that I think it's moved it from possibly exercise, diet adjustments, social engagement, mental stimulation are useful to probably. And that's a big change and makes it easier for people to make those kinds of adjustments for the benefit of their future health.
So, like Dr. Bill Thies was saying, studies tell us that when exercise, diet, social engagement, and mental stimulation levels were increased to a prescribed level, fewer participants experience cognitive decline. Scientists are now moving towards saying that these interventions may make a difference. With more evidence emerging, they're able to say that they probably do a major shift in the messaging that reflects the research. So take a holistic approach to wellness as you age. Consider your health across many components, including physical, intellectual, social, spiritual, emotional, and vocational areas of your life. You can make simple changes that will have a cumulative effect, helping you live as well as possible. And you should begin today. It's never too late or too early to start living in a more healthy way, and you should start small and build. Pick one area to start with and expand from there. And take your changes step by step so that you don't get too overwhelmed. Do what you enjoy and you will stick with it. The more you enjoy the activity you've chosen, the more likely it is that you will follow up on your plan and do something that you can manage in the time you have available now. Again, just 10 to 15 minutes is still helpful. Choose an activity you can stick with over time and make healthy choices. Exercise, eat a nutritious diet, reduce stress as much as possible, and make a plan. Again, if you're interested in the workbook, just put your email in the chat so we can send it to you, and then you can use the workbook to help document your plan and keep track of your progress as well as obstacles that may hold you back and ways to overcome them. Don't forget to reward yourself for small changes and overall progress, and get support from others. Let other people know about the changes you're making so that you're held more accountable. Engage in activities that have a social component and celebrate the victories together. And it's important to also have fun. Be sure that the activities you choose are enjoyable and reward yourself for your success. Aging can present health-related challenges that can take an emotional, financial, and physical toll. You can find many products on the market with medical or health-related claims that may be backed up by inaccurate or misleading research. These products and services may be expensive or time-consuming and can arouse false hopes in users. Some may actually be dangerous to your health. Don't let your desire to find a cure or a quick solution to these challenges override your good judgment. These claims should be backed up by solid research. Research conducted with a large number of people, research that has been replicated, and research that has been published in a peer-reviewed journal. Before trying anything new, consult with a professional who knows your situation or who is a reliable source of information. Your personal physician is the best one to talk to with about what your needs are and whether a product will be helpful or harmful to you. Local pharmacists are also great resources for information about drug and over-the-counter supplement interactions. The Alzheimer's Association website at alz.org can also be helpful. The site offers up-to-date information on research. The Alzheimer's Association 24/7 helpline is also available around the clock, 365 days a year. Through this free service, specialists and master's levels clinicians offer confidential support and information to people living with the disease, caregivers, families, and the public. Contact the helpline day or night. Speak confidentially with master's levels care consultants for decision-making support, crisis assistance, and education on issues families face every day. Learn about the symptoms of Alzheimer's and other dementias. Find out about local programs and services. Get general information about legal, financial, and care decisions, as well as treatment options for managing symptoms. Receive help in your preferred language through our bilingual staff or translation service, which accommodates more than 200 languages. The Alzheimer's Association has transitioned all our in-person programs to virtual platforms like this one, and you can now take our programs either by webinar or phone. These programs are available to you for free, and you can find more information at communityresourcefinder.org. By visiting our Community Resource Finder online tool at the communityresourcefinder.org, you can search for local community living services, day programs, medical resources, and more. Whether you are in the area or across the country, you can find services to help someone living with dementia and make the context you need to ensure safety and comfort. ALZ Connected is the association's very active online community for caregivers and people living with dementia. ALZ Connected online message boards have over 50,000 members who share their thoughts, questions, and ideas with each other 24 hours a day. You can browse the forums without creating a profile, and in these ways can learn directly from other caregivers. You do have to create a profile if you choose to post a message or a question. When facing Alzheimer's disease, there are a lot of things to consider. Alzheimer's Navigator helps guide caregivers to answers by creating a personalized action plan and linking you to information, support, and local resources. So that was a lot of information that I just talked to you guys about. Does anyone have any questions?
You were talking about the vitamins, and I
Yeah.
only got a couple of them. You were talking about ones that could help is vitamin E, and what else?
B12 and folate.
Like folic acid? Is that what
Yeah.
you said?
Yeah, B12 and folate, and also vitamin C when taken with vitamin E. Any other questions?
I do have a question. Hi, my name
Hi.
is Freya. Hi, I have a question about how they talk about like sort of prevention, like based on genetics and health conditions. So is it possible, like if somebody has high blood pressure and they try to reverse the high blood pressure, that can also kind of prevent the disease or whatever?
Well, it's not necessary that it prevents the disease, but it does definitely help statistically to prevent the disease, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the correlation between heart health and brain health is really important to keep in mind with the numbers. So anything that's going to improve your heart health is going to help your brain. So every time our heart pumps, 25% of that blood from our heart goes to our brain. So if our blood pressure is lower, we haven't had heart attacks, we're, having good physical health, we're eating well, all the things that kind of are preventative, it's not necessarily that that everybody who exercises or everybody who has good blood pressure isn't going to get Alzheimer's, but it's definitely going to help us have better health in all different areas, because if we're not getting enough blood flow, then it's really hard to have good brain health. Definitely there's a correlation, but not that direct effect. Unfortunately, we do hear sometimes there's families that, my mom did all the right things, she was educated, she worked out every day, and unfortunately she was still affected. But we're not going to forsake, those things that we can control. Unfortunately, like the family history, the genetics, aging, I can't control those things, but I can control, what I choose to eat and exercising and challenging my brain, all the great things that, Ashley mentioned today, protecting our head. So a big one is Ashley recommended, wearing that protective gear. When I see boxers, football players, children riding bicycles without helmets, it makes me cringe, because we know, there's such a correlation with people that have a head injury and later on possible difficulty with cognitive issues. So definitely anything that we can help ourselves are good things.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, you all heard about the 1-800 number that you can call, and it's 24/7. So I'm just going to thank Nicolette and Ashley for the presentation and for everybody that's attended. One last chance if you have a question.
And if you're like me, you think of something later. I'm always that person that I should have thought of something later. The helpline is wonderful, as Judy said, 24 hours a day. So if you late at night when everybody's sleeping, we're not business hours. We will answer the phone 24/7. And we have master trained level people answering the phone. So it's not customer service, and it's also translated in hundreds of languages. So if you have someone whose native language is not English and they say, how do I ask this? How do I translate this in my language? They can help with that as well.
Thank you, everyone. Everybody enjoy the beautiful, beautiful day out there.
Thank you, Judy, for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, we have an upcoming program on the 24th, Understanding and Responding to Dementia-Related Behaviors, if you're interested. Thank you.
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.